So to start us off for today, our first question is, many students have trouble understanding classes based on the description provided by the registrar. This can lead to taking on too much work for a class that they thought would be easy or have a different professor. Will you help push for syllabus transparency for students when registering for classes?
Yes, I currently am working on fixing the curriculum catalog, which is a related issue where many of the degree programs that we offer here are in different PDFs and different catalogs on the website. So I think it basically goes into that, where a lot of people don't know the professors and don't know which rooms they have to go to and which what time works for them to go to their class, and that's also an issue with registration, which I'm also working towards. So I can see that as a clear next step from the initiatives I'm working on today to work on.
Great. What will you do to advocate for students' educational needs that are currently not covered by the school?
Once enough student voice is heard by our committee, and we have a decent amount of people in the committee, and I plan to raise the committee on efforts of helping out students and hearing their voices, I think it's sufficient enough to go ahead with planning it out, talking to administration, sending the right emails, and looking at the correct policies offered by the school, and working with that to come up with a solution with the students' main issues and rank those based on how feasible it is and how much impact it provides to our students.
Thank you very much. Now, for your third question, will you help foster a VP of Academic Affairs that not only advocates for academic changes, but also institutional changes for how academic experiences should be handled by the university, i.e. should colleges cover conferences and class trips, or etc.?
With that, the conferences in particular, there's a lot of situations where the Academic Affairs Committee has to contribute to having them funded properly, but it is not in my current jurisdiction. But if that becomes a concern in the future, I'll definitely look into it. I don't have much more of an answer.
All right, thank you. All right, so this next question gets just a little bit more personal. By the way, every person will have a personalized question that has been reviewed by the EDC and Technews. Delvin, as an academic affairs Hawkeye, you have positioned yourself to be an ideal successor in the eyes of those in the Student Government Association. However, many students are still unaware of the academic-related issues that have been or are currently being solved by the Academic Affairs Committee. There is also a severe disconnect between Student Government Association and the administration in terms of academic issues. How do you speak to light the role of the Academic Affairs Committee as VPAA to students who don't know where to go when an academic issue arises that is taking too long to resolve? How will you work with the related academic offices?
So I've been talking to the Dean of Students and people on the Academic Affairs side in the administration, and I believe that they can still provide the services and the things we need to succeed in our academic careers. And I believe that there is still some barriers to communication, but I'm here to break those barriers and listen to students on which barriers to break in order to get what they want out of their academic careers. And talking with people in administration, they may have some things that they don't want to agree with us on, but it all comes to a compromise in the end. We have to find a solution in order to solve the issues presented by the students, and those students have to receive the most impact without the university considering themselves out of the deal. And that's all.
Wonderful. Okay, so outside of all the questions asked you today, is there anything you'd like to tell students before they head to the polls on Thursday?
So I'd like to say that I've been committed to the Academic Affairs Committee for a while now. It did not run essentially in the fall 2025 semester, but I was appointed and I served as a Hawkeye and brought back the committee into a policy initiative and student-led committee. where we listen to what the students have to say about their academics, and we're currently working on legislation and resolutions that improve the students' lives, including fixing up the inconsistencies with the curriculum catalog and the drop deadline. And I feel like I want to pursue that further for next year, build a cohesive team that knows how to write legislation and how to write stuff that really impacts the students, get it passed in the Senate, and make it well known to the school. So I want to serve that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Feel free to head back into the audience. Good luck on the polls on Thursday.
Thank you.
Technically, would now like to welcome up the candidate for VP of Research, Tengiz Mukhtar. Hold on.
Wait, sorry about that.
Don't worry about his introduction. We're just
Okay.
All right. So your first question is: since the creation of the VP of Research position, the only big and consistent task that the VP of Research has overseen is the research banquet. Will you lead the research committee to take on more responsibilities? If so, what kind of responsibilities?
Yes. Okay. So as you guys know, we do hold a research banquet. The research banquet is awesome. We're going to be holding on April 24th. You guys should come. That's what I want to say at first. But on top of that, besides the research banquet, I have a lot of ideas that I think would be very helpful for our students here at IIT. For example, I feel like right now it can be like a little intimidating to kind of cold email professors or kind of just like find where you fit in with research. And I feel like there could be a system set in place where it makes it much easier and much more accessible for students to find research. That's a big project that I have in mind, and I'm working on planning it when I'm VP of Research Affairs. Yes.
Okay, great. So there's a fine line between what the VP of Academic Affairs and VP of Research can do. That line is sometimes invisible, leaving the question of what the VP of Research and VP of Academic Affairs can and cannot share in tasks. To reduce the chances of conflict, what will you do to better draw the line of what the VP of Research does and what the VP of Academic Affairs can do?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. So there's a fine line between what the VP of Academic Affairs and the VP of Research can do. That line sometimes is invisible, leaving the question of what the VP of Research and VP of Academic Affairs can and cannot share in task. To reduce the chances of conflict, what will you do to better draw the line of what the VP of Research does and what the VP of Academic Affairs can do?
Thank you. I personally believe that there does not need to be like a very clear fine line between the Committee of Academic Affairs and the Committee of Research. I feel like it's very important that we work hand in hand together because honestly, I feel like that's more efficient and it'll be better for the students. But besides that, I would really work on prioritizing communication between our branches. And we are all within the student government. And the student government, we're like a family. You know, everybody loves each other. Everybody communicates. It's nice. So I feel like I'll get around these foreseen issues, I guess, or maybe those conflicts through communication, as you would get through any other conflict. That's what I'll say. Thank you.
All right. This last one is very short. How will you work to advocate for more student research funding on campus?
So, I personally do not have a lot of control over funding, but what I will say is that as the VP of Research Affairs, I could kind of help students be more creative with their research. For example, like if there's some databases that you need to pay a lot of money to enter, Maybe we could look for some open source databases. That's just an example, you know. I mean, it's all about human ingenuity. It's all about our creativeness. I mean, we're students, we're young, we have this mind that's so hungry for more knowledge. We have this mind that works overtime. Every single day we're here learning, you know, we're smart people, and smart people come up with smart decisions. And I believe in our students, and I believe in everybody in our team, and I believe in myself, so I believe that we'll do good. Even if funding is less, even if there's some friction with research, we're very intelligent people and we're very ambitious people. And I feel like that makes for a great community within research.
Thank you. All right, your next question is now personalized. As a current senator running for VP of Research, what inspired you to run for this role? What have you seen as a senator that made you want to take on a bigger role?
So this is actually really interesting because for the entirety of my time here at IIT, I've been very adamant about finding research, and the whole journey of kind of looking for research has been really, really, honestly, very fun. Because I get to meet a lot of people, people that I otherwise would not have contacted at all. I've been emailing a lot of professors in very different fields that I'm in. I'm in biomedical engineering, but I've been emailing like physics professors, psychology professors, like everybody, you know. And it's been great, and I've met a lot of great people. For example, Dr. Min, Fatima knows Dr. Min. They're all great people, and it's really nice. And through that time looking for research, I've tried to get involved with ResMatch, Armor R&D, all these different programs, and I feel like I have kind of that breadth of knowledge within the research community at IIT to be able to make better changes, better decisions to help students in the future. That's what I'll say. Thank you.
Thank you, Tenjis. Have a wonderful day. You can go back to the audience, and good luck on Thursday at the polls.
Thank you.
We would now like to call up VP of Engagement, Harold Brent Wu Yi Ho. Is that your full name? Is that your full name? Okay. All right, so your first question. The VP of Engagement has historically been a glorified party planning and social media position. Will you change that vision for the VP of Engagement? If so, what will you be changing about the VP of Engagement and Engagement Committee roles in SGA?
That's a very good question. I agree with the statement that the VP of Engagement role has primarily been a very social media focused and event-based role. Going forward as the current VP of Engagement, I want to make engagement not just a social media part of IIT. I want engagement to be the forefront of why students want to come to events and socialize with others, because I think there's a very big underlying problem that at IIT is known for student life and engagement between students. And going forward, I want to create more events and have more engagement where students can come to events, not just because they're marketed to them, but I want events to feel like they're made for them, to cater to their needs. And this could be made through collaboration with other orgs, ethnic orgs, academic orgs, and I just want everyone to be a cohesive family.
All right, I would like to remind candidates to stick to keeping their responses to 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay, good. Next question. If the VP of Engagement is to start steering away from the role of a glorified party planner, what kinds of events can the VP of Engagement and its committee offer that keep that side of the role alive?
Personally, I believe that I don't just want engagement to be known as party planner. I think engagement with the budget and this post engagement, we can go more than just party planning. I do believe that with engagement we can create events that can cater to many different from or what you like to do with personal beliefs. But I do think that if we were to create more party-lize events, we could collaborate with a very wide variety of orgs already. We've recently collaborated with Union Board, we collaborated with other engineering societies, and I think the possibilities are endless. We have a very good relationship with the Greek Council, and I think with all this possibility, we can definitely make party planning still something important to engage with.
All right, thank you, Harold. Your next question is, how can the VP of Engagement more actively work to create a larger platform so students can communicate with senators more directly?
Our primary place of engagement and reaching out currently is Instagram, where all senators, if you have Instagram, if you don't have Instagram, can reach out to us directly on our messages. We also have a YouTube channel, which senators, because I do think many senators have access to Google and YouTube, can comment on our videos, and really, if they have any concerns or questions, they can directly comment on our videos regarding anything that they have problems with, concerns, questions. We just need to, I do believe that for engagement, we just need to prioritize getting that information out so that there's a clearer way for them to contact us.
Thank you, Harold. So your next question is now this personalized question. Not many students are aware of what the Engagement Committee has done other than promotional social media posts for the Student Government Association. This can lead to a misinterpretation of what engagement and in turn SGA as a whole is responsible for taking care of. So can you briefly summarize to us what the committee has done under your direction and how you plan to improve it over time if re-elected?
I would say that over the course of the last 4 months of being appointed to the VP of Engagement, our committee has transformed from just being a party planning committee to an outreach committee. We've collaborated with multiple organizations, creating fun content ideas. We're currently working on having an outreach to other local companies in Chicago. And we want to make it so that people don't just know us for fun content, great content creation those that we're making, but overall we want to be the voice of IT, of SGA themselves.
All right, thank you so much, Harold. Next question.
Right, okay, so outside of all the questions asked here today, is there anything you'd like to tell the students before they head to the polls on Thursday?
I do feel like, as I stated before, as only being appointed as the current VP of Engagement for 4 months, I do feel like I do have a lot of unfinished business. I think with the team that I've created, our team has been, I would believe, a very selective team. I want the top quality for my team, the peak of the peak, the creme de la creme. We want to create the best content that can cater to a wide variety of IT students. So we've created this exquisite, highly professional team of editors, filmers, photographers, content creators, because we want the best for IT. And going forward, if reappointed, I will make sure that this quality will still be.
Thank you so much, Harold. We can now head to the audience. Good luck on Thursday at the polls. And at this time, we would like to welcome up the 2 candidates for VP of DEI, Jack Shin-Chi and Ashante Bunton. Testing 1, 2. The wonderful green line. Okay, thank you so much for coming up. First question. In some cases, cultural organizations do not share the same values as others. This can lead to conflicting viewpoints between organizations. How will you act as a bridge to minimize the cultural conflicts on campus? I understand this is our first time having two candidates, so each person will have 1 minute to respond to the question. So we'll start with you, Shanti, okay?
I wholeheartedly believe that transparency and accountability is at the root of solving all issues. So if there are ever cultural conflicts or conflicts within the committee or within other organizations, I believe it's really important to emphasize transparency and accountability within that. So if there are ever any conflicts, I feel like everyone should kind of state their case and then we kind of meet in the middle, if that makes any sense.
I believe that, just like Ashanti said, on top of that, I feel like we should definitely do more research. We're all coming from different culture. We're in a diverse community. Everyone's having their own background and experience. So we're gonna try to understand from their perspective, and try to see how would they see the problem and conflict. After putting ourselves truly onto their shoes, and then we solve the problem with a proper way of communication, and definitely for our community to, or the SGA, to serve as a platform for them to resolve the problem and talk it out within a group of people, and possibly including the club themselves to improve this communication barrier.
Okay, great. So during certain times, students from certain minorities or populations have faced instances of uncertainty while crises occurred in their home country. How can the VP of DEI support these students? What steps will you take to make sure that these students feel heard by the university administration?
This ties into one of my plans actually, if I'm elected to become the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I plan on implementing a monthly newsletter in which students can input experiences, questions, comments, concerns, anything that can be relevant to our committee. I feel like we don't really know what to do unless students tell us what they need, what they feel they want, what they feel they need. So this newsletter would be utilized to kind of dictate what we choose to do, what we choose to implement, what we choose to prioritize. I feel like if students feel like they're in need of something, if they're struggling with something, it's really important to communicate that, and that's what this newsletter serves to do.
I feel like for me, if I get elected, I would implement something like a box or something like a bullet board in the around campus with the hotspots area where students can just pass by and they can leave a note, their experience, their understanding on things that they want to share anonymously. So they wouldn't be feeling the pressure to go to a specific office or go in front of someone to post anything formally. And that's more easier for people to get engaged and for us to interact with them.
All right, your third question. The DEI committee was created with the vision of acting as an inclusive liaison between cultural organizations on campus and the university administration. How will you help enhance and reactivate this goal in the changing times of the way DEI is treated in the country?
I feel like this somewhat ties back to my survey idea. Students can implement things they're experiencing, so whether that be culture, sexual orientation, anything that revolves around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And through that, we can use that as first-hand case examples to present to administration, whoever that be, when we need something done. I wholeheartedly believe that there is power in numbers. So if many students participate in this survey and implement their ideas, their experiences, anything that would be relevant to diversity, equity, and inclusion, we could incorporate that and present that to administration for whatever the case may be.
Can you please repeat the question?
Sure. The DEI committee was created with the vision of acting as an exclusive liaison between cultural organizations on campus and the university administration. How will you help enhance or reactivate this goal in the changing times of the way diversity, equity, and inclusion is treated in the country?
I I feel like in our university there is like I searched up. I think there's more than 100 students from 100 countries from different background cultures. They would want to be represented. That's why we have a lot of ethnicity group and organization, and also like initiative like Diversity Advisory Council. We would be, as SGA, we would use the platform. I feel like that would be really important to provide this platform for them to connect across those clubs and organizations in order for them to step out of their comfort zone with less pressure, instead of thinking, oh, they wouldn't have the courage to talk to each other and understand each other's culture. So that's one way. Another way would be we come together.
I will have to stop you
Okay,
there
yeah.
whenever you start. All right, so we're going to start with the personalized questions for each candidate. So Shanti, you're up first. As a current DEI Hawkeye, you are in a unique position to understand what the DEI committee currently does in SGA. With this knowledge, something many students probably still don't see or understand. With this knowledge, something many students probably still don't see or understand. Okay, ignore that part. Do you see a particular vision for the DEI committee? If so, what is that vision, and have you taken initiative to start this vision as a Hawkeye?
Yes, my vision for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee is a committee in which students and the committee members themselves have an open level of communication, where it's no pressure. You can come to us anytime with anything, whether it be minuscule or something huge, and we take it equally as seriously. If there's ever anything in which like students face any issues, problems, I feel like it would be most important for them to come to us, which is what my goal with the anonymous survey is. You can come in and implement anything, and we will take that into account for our future plans. So.
All right, thank you very much. Now for Jesse. That's your preferred name, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You are currently part of the Residence Hall Association, which, as explained by the association name, handles residents' life issues. Now that we are in election season, you have decided to run for VP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Why did you decide to run for VP of DEI as opposed to VP of Student Life?
That's a good question. So me, I started college as all of us. I'm just trying to find a place for belonging. And I got involved into student life because I'm a resident here. But what I'm truly interested is the DEI, which we lived in daily. And for myself, I'm an international student. I moved here in the US 5 years ago by myself. I was facing difficulty with language and cultural barrier. I understood and seen how difficult it is to cross barrier. So this is truly something close to my heart. I want to run for it in order to help more people like me before to see that those cultures difference or language difference doesn't separate us, but they serve as a unique part of us to bring us together as a family unity.
Great. Okay. So this question, same question for both of you. Outside of all the questions asked here today, is there anything you would like to tell students before they head to the polls on Thursday?
Yes, of course. I wholeheartedly believe that your sense of belonging and understanding of the environment in which you're in shapes the way you not only perceive the environment, but the way you interact with others. And my goal as the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is not only to open the borders of communication between us and students, but to make them understand and feel like they belong. Because as soon as you get a sense of belonging, your effort and your passion within that committee, community, whatever it may be, is automatically increased. So if I am elected as Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, I plan on opening the borders of communication and making students feel like they belong, and also seeing real results in real time.
Okay. For me, belonging is really important, but it's really hard. I feel like it's really hard to find belonging, especially as a new student coming here, or international student for the first few months engaged on campus. It's so easy to be left out. And I want to say that I have experienced all of those, and I have feeling that the urge to be seen and understood. So I want to stand up not as a leader, but not only as a leader, but also as a bridge to connect the students to our SGA and connecting across each clubs and even getting outside of campus to help with some service projects regarding to cultural equity and inclusion. So I just want to say I have been in your shoes, and I'm just one of everyone in the audience. And yeah, vote for me.
Thank you so much. You may return to your seats.
That is it for today's candidates. Please be sure to come back tomorrow, where you will be hearing from the VP of Student Life candidates, the EVP candidate, and presidential candidates. For VP of Student Life, we have Saeed Qadri